Welcome to the Founder and Force Multiplier podcast, where we explore how leaders work together with their right-hand partners to turn ideas into action and build wildly successful businesses. Today, we are so stoked and excited to host the founders of Eagle Investors, Ishaan, Sandhir, and Vishu Namburi. The dynamic duo share how they started their journey, the challenges they faced, and how they maximized on their strategic partnership and applied force multipliers within the business to grow and scale. You will definitely leave this episode feeling very inspired, no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey.
Vishu, Ishan, thank you so much for joining our podcast today. We are so excited and so humbled to have such young souls who are making a difference and an impact in today's society. We have the co-founders of Eagle Investors here to share their story, their triumphs, their struggles, and why, they're still doing what they do today. To kick us off, Ishan and Vishu, tell our audience the Ishaan and Vishu elevator pitch.
Hi, Manal. Thanks so much for having us today on the call. Just to start us off, Vishu and I, as you said, are young, but I would like to say that we've done a lot, throughout our career thus far. Number one, we started by creating a student-run nonprofit investment fund at the Kelley School of Business at Indiana. You can envision it kind of like a student-run hedge fund where we got money donated from the university, and we were able to manage it and teach all the students about real money management.
Wow.
And then we donate a portion of the returns each month. So this is something that we actually founded and created when we had just started college. We saw that we wanted to go into investments and trading in that industry, but we didn't see that there was any real money opportunity. So we took that opportunity and we tried to make something of it. It was a very difficult process, but we made amazing connections along the way. Those connections that we built through that foundation were able to drive us towards other entrepreneurial ventures. And I can pass off to Vishu to tell you more about what we currently do.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Vishu Namburi, and when I met Ishaan through ECMG, the organization we founded at Kelley, we just had that spark, and we knew that we were trying to build so many big things. Not only were we able to significantly grow ECMG and help, so for the student-run investment fund that we're running, it was the first of its kind at Indiana University, and we were able to not only teach students about different types of investment strategies, as well as run our own student-run investment portfolio. We were also able to donate portions of the profits to our Indiana University Student Foundation. So that foundation is meant to help struggling students who might not be able to pay their bills, and try to help them in that regard. And then jumping from there, we saw that we had those synergies in place, and we founded Eagle Investors, and Eagle Investors has taken off. We started the business around May of 2019, and we were able to grow significantly. Initially, we were just looking to have a group of investors that discuss what they're seeing in the markets, and then from there, we were able to grow significantly to over 250,000 members within our community today. And we've learned a lot throughout the process. We've been able to build out learning management systems so we can help. It doesn't matter what we pride ourselves with in terms of our community. It doesn't matter if you've never traded a stock or option in your life, or you've been trading for 10 to 15 years or even longer than that. We're trying to foster a community where everyone's welcomed in, and we're able to provide resources for everyone as well. We've been able to build various different types of trading tools, as well as build out our community even further through the traders that we have within our group, to help create that environment and be that place for investors to find all of their trading information, as well as further themselves in their own trade with their own trading as well.
Yeah, and just to
Wow.
talk off of what Vishu said really quickly is we are an investment advisory firm. We were recently declared by the SEC back about a year ago, and this was a big accomplishment for us as we're able to offer now fiduciary advice through our
Right.
platform. And this is something that a lot of other online platforms do not have, and that's our competitive advantage is that we do offer actual advice, and it's not, we don't label things that say it's not trading advice because we're actually able to give that. So a lot of that you see online, people will just throw out, hey, buy this stock, buy this stock. It's very hard to trust. Here, we go above and beyond. We try to do things the right way. We have a team of advisors who work around the clock, around the world to make sure that your questions are answered. We trade
Yeah.
everything that you can think of from stock, options, futures, cryptocurrency, Forex. We have people who specialize in it all. We have daily live streams for day trading. That's something you've ever been interested in. We specialize in derivatives trading, so options and futures. And we really profit in any market condition. That's what we pride ourselves on. We've actually done very well this year in terms of performance for our clients, especially when you compare it to the broad market and the indices. And we'll continue to do that throughout all of Eagle. So we just try to really level the playing field between all of retail traders and institutions, because there's a huge discrepancy. We see your regular everyday type person, regular everyday person, get a trading app, something like Robinhood, Webull, or even just see that commissions are lower now from $5 a stock trade to nothing. You can do it for free now. So accessibility is going up, and we bring technology and tools that we can watch what the big money at the hedge funds are doing to level the playing field. And we offer these resources to clients through our 3 subscriptions, Infinity, Diamond, and Silver, which all offer a bunch of different stuff. Yeah.
Right. Wow. 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 Okay, that deserves a clap. Like I cannot, well, coming myself from over 15 years in the financial services industry, running strategy for wealth management firms, I cannot tell you. And then also I teach investments at the university. It makes my heart personally so happy to hear what you guys are doing, because you've taken sort of your institutional learning and you're applying what's the future, where investing is going, how the industry is changing, and how can you keep up with the industry. I think that is something that if you look at a lot of financial services companies today, that is one of the biggest challenges that they're facing, is actually keeping up with the digitization, the alternative investments, the new age of investing, maybe even the new behavioral triggers of investing. You see, when I was young, we were only as good as an encyclopedia and a book, a textbook that we were given. Today, the world is changing because knowledge is everywhere, right? The digital, the Google age has literally provided knowledge in everybody's hands. And it's beautiful to see what you guys are doing with it and how you've built your network. It's amazing. Tell our audience, what is it? What was that pivotal moment where you guys looked at each other? I'm just assuming, I'm making this up in my head, that you guys looked at each other one day and you're like, you know what? This is us. We're going to be entrepreneurs and we're going to make an impact. And we are going to have a startup that's eventually going to be a mature business that's going to have profound impacts. Like how and when?
Yeah, that's a great question, Manal, and Vishu and I probably chuckle a little bit when you say that because we met when we were, very young. I think I was probably 19 years old and Vishu was 18 years old at the time.
Yep.
I had been going to the Kelley School of Business throughout my freshman year, and Vishu had recently graduated high school and was going to the Kelley School of Business. He was from my area, kind of maybe like 30, 40 minutes away, and I was on LinkedIn one day, and and we've been talking about, just kind of these ideas and stuff like that. And I saw that Vishu had made some really interesting posts on LinkedIn about his successful trades. And I went and I kind of read through them. And I was like, wow, he must be so young. And I saw that he was coming to the university. So I just got in touch with him. And, we were lucky to meet through like online means, although we were kind of from the same area, going to the same place. And we met at Starbucks for the first time. And Vishu, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, and that's when we truly started to discuss like what we're looking at within the markets, and we really clicked in terms of like looking at strategies, trying to. I remember we would try to backtest specific strategies. We would try to see the viability, see what types of strategies we could put on, and we just kept on discussing from there. And then I would say within the business itself. working together and building it. I would say the pivotal moment came around March of 2020. That's when we saw huge growth within our company overall. We saw a lot of retail investors coming into the market. We saw a retail investor boom as many people were were working from home. They wanted to manage their own wealth and finances, and we saw a lot of these growth and tech names grow significantly during that period. So I believe during that period we saw a growth from 60,000 members to over 125,000 members in such a short span. So we were on day and night. I remember we would be, the markets were very volatile during that period. So we would be looking at the markets pre-market, after hours. We would be watching it like a hawk whenever we got the chance. We would be watching futures all the time. So that's when we really saw it became something where we were able to see the impact that we were able to make on so many different investors. One thing is during that period, a lot of groups weren't necessarily recommending any risk management during that period. That's something that we keyed in on because there were a lot of people who were putting significant amounts of their portfolios into names that had little to no intrinsic value. So we kept on reminding our clients to have a proper risk management strategies, and we were able to see that impact on clients firsthand as well. So just from there, we were able to see that impact, and then we were able to grow significantly from there.
Yeah, and that aha moment essentially where I think Vishu and I, understood that this could really take off and that we should continue to pursue a venture because everybody can start like an idea or come up with an idea, but how far you run with it and how successful that is. We really decided to run with Eagle during that time, but the benefit was that we were positioned well before that. We didn't know that it was going to take off the way that it did, but by being in this industry, having this drive and understanding that we were going to be in the space before the explosion, essentially, we were well positioned to actually do something. And that put us ahead of our competition who maybe popped up during that time, whereas we had already existed. And, that's why we maybe still exist when the competition may not. So we're just always trying to be positioned. We're lucky to be in the investments and trading like industry and kind of wanting to go to business school and stuff like that. So I think we played on our strengths and we positioned ourselves for the potential to succeed. And then that time came. And that's why we decided to continue.
I love it. I love all of it. I cannot speak about how amazing you guys are. And I hope and wish my kids turn out like you guys. Your parents have to be super proud. Throughout this journey that you have been on, I'm sure there have been challenges. It's probably not been very easy, right? Today, it sounds easy when you talk about it. Give us a little insight about some of the challenges that you guys might have faced, and what is it about your duo and your relationship that helped you overcome them?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. The first thing that comes to mind is like, who do you trust to, be like not necessarily like loyal, but also like to get their work done, and have the same drive as you. You want to surround yourself with those people that you can really trust. And one thing that I think Vishu and I found, especially when we were trying to scale the business very quickly when we needed to, because we were seeing such a big influx of customers, is that it was very difficult figuring out who we could trust because everybody wanted to be like a part of the program and get some money, but we had to be careful who we kind of let in being an advisor, because everybody thought they were really good at trading at that time. What was the benefit was that we had, this relationship before just the business. We're not just colleagues. I think that we met as friends, and really our executive team is so tight knit because of that. All of us have relationships prior to the business, and that's why we work so well together. It's like tried and tested essentially through our investment group and things like that. We understand, we try to recruit from there as well from leadership skills and stuff. So that really helped us. That helps us get through it, is that we know that our close pack of executives, no matter what happens, like we will be together, and that we will be okay together, no matter what outside people kind of come in. And that's something we really learned, throughout this process, is that it seems easy and everybody wants to maybe help you when times are good, but then when times are bad, it's like you're on your own. So who do you really
Right.
trust? And that's one of the keys. Vishu, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that was something, especially early on, that we learned. Just trying to make sure that when you are setting up that team, having people that you trust and also people who have a similar vision as well. You don't necessarily want someone to, if you don't have the same vision, it's very hard to work with them. And if they don't show necessarily the same passion or drive within the company, then maybe the role is not the perfect fit there. And I would say just like being part of a startup, wearing so many different hats, especially
Right.
early on, I had my hands in almost every single project, same with Ishaan, and same with our other executive members as well. So just having our hands in everything. And for example, if something urgent comes up, you just have to drop everything and try and work to fix that issue. So we've had multiple moments where, for example, we're dealing with a payments issue, trying to make sure we get that fixed as soon as possible,
Right.
and working with all the potential resources to fix that. And also, I would say like managing relationships, not only between employees with the company, but also with clients as well. I would say the major thing is communication, communication, communication. Just making sure that everyone is on the same page, making sure that we're able to promptly put updates, specific reasoning behind what you are doing, and trying to make sure that we're able to provide the best decision for not only the company but also putting the client's best interest in the first as well.
That's awesome. There's a very important question that I have. A lot of individuals, when they start out on a finance journey, and a lot of companies, that provide, advisory, it is a very important fiduciary responsibility, right? And we have seen in the past that the reason we've had more than one financial crisis is due to, maybe for lack of better words, like having strong ethics, or really doing the right thing before greed or anything like that. When in speaking to you guys, that you guys exude that. It seems to be a culture that you have to make sure that you're doing right by people, that you're always doing the right thing, that you are focused on knowledge and responsibility and accountability. Share with us a little bit how you hold those values and how you share those values across in your firm as well.
Yeah, Manal, that's perfect. And you almost like took the words out of the exact thing that I tell all of our staff all the time is that we are not here to make money. We're here to help people, and making money is a side effect of helping people if we're successful and do that properly. And that's kind of how we pitch it. That's what Eagle is built on. Another thing there is that we came from the background of a 501c3 nonprofit, and that's always been something part of our culture. I think maybe it's probably part of how we were brought up from maybe our parents and things like that.
Yeah.
But to always do the right thing and honest, and that gets you really far in this business. And it is, in my opinion, because you actually make relationships value over time instead of just a one and done relationship. You had a one good trade. It's a constant journey, and it's a stair step ladder of many trades, not just one trade, because then you blow it all in the next trade. So those are just some brief things that I like to talk about to the clients and stuff. Vishu, anything that I missed?
One thing I just wanted to mention is typically when you're looking at these online platforms, you see the typical stereotype where you say, "Hey, we'll turn $10,000 into $1 million."
Right.
That's not what we're here for. We're focused more on risk management, making sure that we're able to not necessarily turn a portfolio up 1,000%. We're trying to make sure that we're able to build wealth and not necessarily risk it all. So I would say that's been a philosophy. We're trying to do what's right on that side as well. We've had instances, for example, where we decided someone wasn't a right fit for the team based off
Right.
of what they were doing, and making sure that they're putting not only they're putting best interest of clients first. So that's something that we constantly reiterate, and then also having that designation of being a registered investment advisory firm only makes it more contingent that we put the best interest of our clients first. So we've been able to reiterate that by becoming a registered investment advisory firm as well.
Yeah, and Manal, there's so many different people who try to compete with us in the same space, but none of them have the registration. And the thing is, you can trust us, and that's what our value proposition is. We can prove that. We do our best with our clients, and if you don't want to take it from us, you can hear what our clients have to say as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. And to be honest, it is anyone can put out a product and a company out there, but you can tell when you're speaking that the values that you speak of and the values that are going to make your company have a competitive edge and genuinely be sort of a future vision of what financial institutions should look like. You can hear that in the way you speak, in the way you carry yourselves. You don't just talk the talk, you are walking the walk, and it is very obvious. And from somebody who has been in the finance world for a very long time, it is an honor to be around people who have that mindset. Saying that, where you guys are today in your careers with this company, are there readings? Are there people mentors that you follow? Do you have mentors? Like, how do you have very strong mental fitness? That is something that I have sort of caught on to in my few conversations with you guys, is that you have a level of maturity of understanding how to deal with life and complexity, really making a positive impact. Who are the people that surround you, or the things that you read or you follow that sort of help build onto that?
Yes, that's a really good question, and
Thanks,
thinking about it
Ishaan.
from
I
a
like
little.
that you like my questions.
Yeah, it was a great question. And I apologize if you hear like my little dog in the background barking. He's just wondering what's going on and wants to be part of the podcast too. But overall, in terms of mentorship, it's I've been very privileged to have number one, identifying that privilege to go to a university and things like that. Not everybody has that, and I understand that. That was a huge privilege, I think, that we were able to have, and that we were able to be around people who would potentially have the same mindset. So putting yourself in those same places is very important, I think, as we said earlier. In terms of specific mentors, my parents, they're very hardworking. They did it a little different than me. They did it by the book. They're both physicians and doctors, but they showed me, to do things the right way, to not always like get greedy or, and just stuff like that. In terms of the reading, just on a personal level, I read financial news. Even when it comes to political things, I will read it in a financial scope, in a lens, because usually that can be more objective, but that's also maybe what we're more concerned with. So I try to get my news as unbiased as possible, or just I try to read like unbiased as possible. We consume so much news. We think we don't read like a book, but the way that we are on our online platforms is we're reading all the time, and we don't think that I never think of it like that, but we're constantly learning and reading, usually financial lens type things. Yeah, Vishu, what about you?
Yeah, I would say, just coming from the Kelley School of Business, I've been fortunate enough to have so many professors who have learned more about the venture that we're running, and just hear about it and have that like sounding board as an effect. And I would say, like Ishaan, my parents have been always a helping hand as well. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurial ventures that I've run even as a kid,
Oh, wow.
I've always had that mindset, whether it was, for example, flipping iPhones and laptops, or starting to trade with my own brokerage. I actually started very early,
Very nice.
thanks to my parents. So I was just able to fully throw myself into the investment space through them, and I just kept on learning, finding resources online, finding videos whenever I could, and then also specifically one show that I really like watching is called The Profit on CNBC with Marcus Lemonis. A lot of his philosophies, such as like trying to build a business with people, process, and product. I always keep that in mind, trying to make sure that you have the proper people within a business. You're able to create a solid foundation and process within your business for each specific product that you're running, and then finally trying to sum everything up to create the best possible product that you can create for your clients as well. So I've used that a lot of times throughout my journey here at Eagle and throughout my own life as well.
That's awesome. As you guys sort of grew the startup, obviously when you first started, it was very scrappy. You had a lot of administrative burden. You guys were putting on many hats, playing many sort of roles. Was there a moment when you realized that in order to grow and cast your vision, you really need to take off that administrative burden off of you and have like, either a EA or a force multiplier within your firm to help you sort of grow and expand and multiply what you can provide from a vision, from a direction, from a strategic growth perspective?
Yeah, and that's a great question as well. I think, again, we learned this in the foundational stages with the nonprofit startup, is that in order to make something work, it's not necessarily that you have something great or like you have an awesome product or development. It's like how many people are like, do you expand it to and buy into your vision, and then around that, then you can build, because now you have resources, and
Right.
what we did, for example, it was like, I didn't have anything, we had nothing. We just said we wanted to potentially get money from the university and hopefully we get it next semester, come be a part of the first one, and we didn't know anything that we could do it, but we had 20 people show up in a room after hours in suits and start presenting, and then we made something from that, so it's not necessarily like fake it till you make it, but at the same time, like that's a real story. So same with Eagle, is like we ran with that. It was like we understood that immediately we need to start expanding our network, and it's a network thing. I think network, resources, and then you might not use all of these people's network. They might be expensive, but at least you have that on the table and you know where to go from there. And so you can delegate, because that's one of the first things you have to do. It's like I always say, like I try to be like an octopus. Is like I have like 8 arms, and I can, I want to have arms and everything that does everything. But the reality of the situation is that, sometimes you have to be like focused, and one thing that I struggle with on a daily basis that we're still trying to work through is that, I serve as, an advisor with Eagle, and I'm, one of the people who does one of our option swing portfolios. But I'm also the CEO of the company, and with all the time clients like, Ishaan, what are you trading with your money? What's the next trade? What's the next play? And I'm like, guys, like, sorry, I'm on a podcast, we got to talk, and we have CEO duties to do, but and that's one thing that I'm trying to balance. So, recently we're installing a new system where all of our traders and advisors have trade assistants. And those assistants do a lot of the communication and the delegation to the clients, that the traders can focus on making the clients the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the most people following, which is their job. So that's kind of just the gist on kind of, the whole thing. But Vishu, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say another thing is like thinking like intrinsically, like what are our strengths and weaknesses, and trying to, based off of that, try to figure out where our best roles are suited. And we've been working on it as a whole within the company, trying to see like what are like the day-to-day tasks that we should be doing, and what are day-to-day tasks that we can have other people do as well. So trying to understand that and trying to find people who fit that as well. So we've been constantly building that out. And then also through our network, for example, all of us come from more of a business background, but we've been able to, when we're working on technology products, for example, we've been able to partner with individuals who have that specific skill set and try to make sure that we're able to build it and mix both worlds as well. So always trying to find people who can specialize in those specific fields, and then from there we can take advantage of everyone's strengths.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. All this has been incredible, and I'm sure so many will take so many good lessons from this. For others out there, maybe still at the university stage, is there any advice you would give the youth of today when they have an idea, when they have a passion for something, or when they are on the cusp of not really knowing if they want to start a business or not?
Yeah, that's a I'm trying to think what would be the best advice that I
Yeah.
could think of, and it would be to don't be afraid to fail. I can't tell you how many times I've failed. I could list. I've failed more times than I've succeeded, and there's no way. And even to this day, Vishu and I come up with new entrepreneurship ventures and ideas that aren't around Eagle, and we failed. And we're just waiting to see what the next best thing is. Don't stop. Whether you have something successful already or not, continue to look, and diversify yourself with different types of entrepreneurship ventures. And if you're just trying to start, like, don't be afraid to go out there and take a shot. And when you take a shot and you see some success, build up from there, because you can parlay it up to actually a small, medium-sized business, from just an idea. Again, don't be afraid to fail and lose, especially if you're younger. I actually got this advice, I think, just like online. I just saw like like an Instagram post on like a motivational thing. It was a guy talking about, hey, your 20s are built for you to fail, and your 30s are for you to understand what you failed at. So then you kind of start your career, and then your 40s and 50s and 60s, you do what you figured out you're good at, and you make your money, right? So don't be afraid. Like, if you're 20 and we might sound like we have everything figured out, but we really don't. There's a lot of uncertainty ways. Like, we are still like a startup and we're expanding rapidly. So, don't be afraid of uncertainty, which is very difficult, even for me, and what I would say, and then don't be afraid to fail. Like, because if you want to be an entrepreneur, that's going to happen to you more times than you succeed, probably. So,
Yeah, that's so well said. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, okay, we've kind of gone through your professional hat. We only know you through the lens of your greatness around building these companies and the finance world. What is something that people don't know about you? Something people are surprised to find out.
Vishu, I gotta think. What about you?
Yeah, I have to think about this as well, but I'm like huge sports fan. So whenever I get the chance, I'll always be watching sports. I'm huge into analytics when it comes to understanding like how players are doing. I'm big into fantasy football as well, so I'll always be looking into those metrics, seeing who they play, seeing how the field conditions are, seeing what the expected weather, what the wind speed is, and then from there trying to make decisions for my teams. And I also always enjoy playing basketball, football whenever I get the chance as well. Yeah.
Who are the teams? Who are your favorites?
Yeah, so I'm a huge Patriots fan, and then I'm a Celtics fan as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. What about you, Ishaan?
So on the sports note, I'm a huge Bengals fan, and they won last night, which was awesome.
Oh!
And and I was able actually to go to the Super Bowl and watch the Bengals, because we never have been to a Super Bowl since I was born. So it was kind of a big deal. That's one thing. Another thing is I have twin younger sisters, and they're studying to be doctors. And both my parents are doctors, and both my grandfathers were doctors. So I'm kind of the oddball out, taking that risk, and and I'm lucky to have people who can like back me up. But it has been definitely making the own path on all cylinders. So, I come from like a physician family. I wanted to be a brain surgeon until I was like halfway through high school.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can already see it. I'm already envisioning this. Okay. I know. If not like a few years from now, but definitely like 5+ years from now, I'm seeing this book written by both of you about your journey, your struggles, what your family said as you were going through this journey and how you overcame them. I'm already seeing this New York Times bestseller happening. Go ahead.
Yeah, and on that topic, we've actually been contacted by a few news outlets before, just interested in the same thing. I think Wall Street Journal, Business Insider did a pretty nice piece on us, I think, last year, which we really appreciated. And then also we do write books, but they're mostly about trading strategy. For example, we recently published a 20, 30-page ebook on how to grow a small trading account this year, which is very difficult. And the strategy has been extremely successful so far, and we continue to do it. So, we do write those books, and Manal, I appreciate the idea. We'll have to write another one.
Yeah. And you know what? We will actually link all your books in the show notes so everybody can check out the ebooks and all your articles as well.
Wonderful. We'd love to have anybody, whether you know nothing, whether you know everything about markets or right in between, we have a place for you and people who would expand your network. Yeah.
That's awesome. So as we close out today, are there any final and parting words that you would like to tell our audience?
One thing I would say is if you're looking for a community of traders, make sure to join. I'm sure we'll have it in the link in the description. We'll put a link to our website, and then you can join our community from there as well. We have a free 10-day trial, so you can see everything that we have to offer. And if you have any questions or you want to learn more, definitely feel free to reach out as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for having us. One final thing is that we're coming out with a brand new app. It's a mobile app and a desktop app. We've been working on it for over a year in development, and it has everything we currently have plus a lot more. It's called Trade Nest by Eagle Investors, and we should have the free launch, I think February 2023 at the latest. And beta tests for current clients are occurring within the next month or two. So we're really excited to bring that. That's really the next step for our company. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Thank you for sharing your story, your journey, what's coming next. I will tell everybody here, as somebody who has been in the industry for a long time, I am a member of Eagle Investors. My son has interned with you guys as a sophomore in high school. I'm a big fan, and it doesn't matter. It's not just for the youth. That's something that I really want to put out there, that I'm also interested in you guys, and I'm probably going to start, working with you guys as well. So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for putting it out there. It is so inspiring, and we look forward to what Eagle Investors has in the future.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate all your support and cannot wait to hear about your own success stories. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the latest podcast episodes. Don't forget, follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn at the links in the show notes for more free resources and other news. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next week.